What's up, YouTube? It's your boy J-Lo, and today I'm gonna keep it simple. Today I'm gonna give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about owning a G35. So this is my 2006 Infiniti G35, if y'all have seen on the channel before, and overall, it's a solid car. This one in particular that I have had a lot of issues with it, and I wanted to take it upon myself to go through and fix it to give you guys content, but a lot of it I did off camera because it needed to drive. I needed a daily vehicle, and that's what purpose this serves. So right off the bat, I'm gonna give it to y'all like this. Infiniti / Nissan used the cheapest paint possible when it came to these cars. A lot of these you'll see with a lot of paint blemishes, clear coat coming off and all of that, and that's simply because of the choice of paint that they chose to use. I personally had issues with it, so I did a quick fix. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but it's very ugly and tacky. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can see there's all sorts of debris. The clear coat where it started to eat through their little dents and divots. I don't know if you guys can see it on the GoPro, but stupidly cheap paint, and that's one issue that you will at least experience if you don't garage keep a G35. Moving on to number 2, and this is notorious for every VQ. Doesn't matter, Nissan, Infiniti, you know, 350, 370, you will experience at least once a camshaft position sensor go bad. This is a 2006, and it has 4 of them. I've had 2 of them go bad already, and I've only owned the car for 5 months, so that should tell you something. It doesn't mean, you know, steer away from the car, but that is something that you should definitely be noticeable of. Also, the headlights. So I personally like the Spec D headlights. That's the reason I chose them. The factory headlights, they're a little ashy, they're a little outdated too, so I went with the Spec D, but that's probably one of the first mods you guys would do if you were to own a G35. It's just to get rid of the headlights. Also, before y'all get to roasting me in the comments about this, I have a story. I was headed home, and I was cruising, you know, it was a nice Saturday, weather was nice, I was outside cooling, chilling, coasting, and G37 pulled up beside me. It was all black as well, and he also had that trim missing, which was ironic, but he downshifted, and I didn't like the way he downshifted, so I downshifted. He gave a good old 1, 2, 3, and we were out of there. And you know, he jumped out in front of me. I slowly started to reel him back in, but by the time he hit about 5th or 6th gear, he started to pull off, and all I heard was a loud pop. Look at my review, and you just see that piece blowing behind the car. So excuse me for that, I know it's tacky. Moving into the interior, I went ahead and replaced the steering wheel. It's a Sparkle steering wheel, quick release, and there was no particular reason for that. That was just personal preference. As far as the condition of my car, it's probably like a 7 out of 10 in the interior. The casual crack, you will find that on most of these. It's just the material that they used was also cheap. They didn't really put a lot of money into these vehicles. Also, you will notice that I have my ECU on the floor, and I can explain that, but probably in a later video. On the clock here, mine has about 165,000 miles on it, and if I turn it on, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. It is definitely lit up like a Christmas tree, and that's all because of the camshaft issue. Like I said, I'll go more into depth later on in a different video. A lot of people have issues with these cars too when it comes to traction control. As you can see on mine, I have the VDC light on, and then also the rev and slip light on with that. And it'll usually throw off your traction control. So if any check engine light comes on and those combination of codes come on, it messes with your traction control. So what a lot of G35 owners do, they put in a little magical button right here. Excuse that, I had my dog in the car yesterday. What this is, this wires directly into the traction control module, and you can control it as to being on and off. It's my little fun switch. It allows me to do stuff like this. So yeah, I would highly advise you to tap into it. If you guys want a video of me doing that, I could show you the process of me doing it and walk you guys through it. Also, side note, this is a 6-speed manual, as you guys saw already. This is a Mishimoto shifter knob. Manuals are a lot more fun than automatics, especially in a car like this. So if you can find a manual, definitely choose that over automatic. All right, so let's take it for a drive and I can give you guys more of my opinion on this car. So let's start off with drivability. This car, like I told you guys originally, is a really fun car to drive. It's not super fast, but I mean, for any beginners or anybody getting into the car scene, you always want to work your way up when it comes to power. You never want to just jump ship, because horsepower is one of those things that you have to respect, or it'll show you the difference. Hence a lot of Mustang compilations on YouTube. I daily drive this, so I can give y'all an honest opinion on it. And I mean, the seats, they're kind of comfortable. They're not really that bad. And then the quality of the car, like I told you guys, is somewhat cheap, but the interior definitely matches the vibe of the car. As you can see in my last video too, where I took her to get dyno, that was just a base map dyno, just to see where she kind of stood at as far as power goes. So any mods I choose to do afterwards, I have a base map to pretty much work on and know what's what. These cars too, where they lack in power, they gain in handling, and this is probably one of the best handling vehicles that I have ever driven, given that I haven't driven a lot, but I like this. It sits low to the ground. I'm on BC coilovers, and that definitely made a world of a difference to the car. But handling, oh my God, it's so beautiful with this car. Especially when you're under a load or when you're driving, as long as you don't, you know, do anything stupid like clutch kick it, it'll pretty much hold around any turn with ease. This is the bad part. Being so low to the ground, it definitely scrubs and scrapes on just about every speed bump that you hit. Also right here, I'm gonna give you guys a short pull just to show you what she actually is capable of. This is the first gear pull. Pretty much any 6-cylinder engine that you run across, it's gonna be a good race, you know. It's not the fastest car, as I mentioned, but it's also not the slowest out there on the market. Now, also, the thing that I miss the most, if you guys do plan on changing the steering wheel, make sure you continue to keep cruise control. When I tell you that I miss it so much, and it's probably one of the more dumber things that I did, I definitely miss it. Oops, y'all almost saw an accident on camera. Be alright. So if I had to give this car an overall score, especially for beginners, I give it about an 8.5 in that range, because for what it is, it's not a bad car whatsoever. Also, in my experience with VQs, they don't die. Unless you try to kill a VQ, they will not die. I had a friend who had a VQ and it got up to 325,000 miles and then he sold it. And as far as I know now, that same car is still taking off that same motor. So as long as you know, keep up general maintenance and all of that, these cars will run forever. Now, if you're on the other side of that scene where you like to beat her up, sorry to tell you, one money shift and she's donezo. You might see a rod go through the air, because these do not take well to that. Give y'all another pull before I let y'all go.